first place tie with the Lancers. Iroquois senior Eric Conley ripped a pair of two-run home runs in that contest. The first blast came in the third inning, and Conley's second home run of the game came off pitcher Brent Armstrong in the fifth frame. The Braves scored their final two runs in the top of the seventh inning to seal that win. Both Iroquois and General McLean stand atop the Erie County League standings with just one loss each.
High school baseball, as the Braves have lost just once in league play. Now these guys are tied with General McLean for the top spot at the moment in the Erie County League. They'll get back into action tomorrow on their home diamond. Coach Phil Glass says the Braves are ready for the stretch.
We had our downs, of course, like in any season, but overall we've been getting good pitching and our hitting's been outstanding so far. So if we can maintain that, we should be right into the end.
The Braves will try to hold on to their share of the lead as they tangle with Fort LaBeouf tomorrow afternoon. Now, things are not out of local baseball because the Iroquois Braves once again in the hunt for the Erie County League title. Chuck Howard takes a look at the Braves.
Once again, the Iroquois Braves are on top of the Erie County League with a 7-1 record. The Braves have all the tools to repeat as district champs. A strong defense, good hitting, and most of all, consistent pitching.
Yesterday's ball game at Fairview was a big game for us. Chris Shopes threw a real nice ball game, and that really picked us up because we need him, and he's our leader on the mound. And Steve Hall's been doing an outstanding job as the junior pitcher for us, but we have to have both of them. And the hitting's been there, so if the hitting stays with us the rest of the way, I think we'll be okay.
Iroquois has a strong tradition as a baseball power, but according to Glass, the magic doesn't happen overnight.
Westerville and Lawrence Park have excellent Little League programs that carry ball up through the age of 18, and that really certainly is the backbone of our high school program. But we have a strong tradition. Coach Harry Farnbaugh that was here for a long time, he had a winning tradition all the way through.
So if tradition repeats itself, the Braves should be in store for another banner season. Chuck Howard, News Watch 35 Sport.
6-4 earlier in the season, and they are expecting the same type of battle.
These games are the fun ones. It's when you're playing some of the lower division clubs that when you really worry, But when you're playing two good teams are going like this, it's a fun game to play and coach. So I think it'll be a dandy.
The Lancers and the Braves are both 10-1 in league play. Even though their hitting failed to come through over the weekend against the 10-1 records in league play, Iroquois is the defending District 10 champion, and that might give them a slight edge.
When you get into that district play and get a little experience and the fun of playing at Ainsworth, being from the county out here, and just the excitement of being there, I think means a lot. And the kids last year winning District 10 and getting into the interdistrict play, I think just made them a little bit hungry, more hungry to go on maybe a little further this year.
And we're
about ready. Say we get to it. Tell us about it. High school baseball this afternoon. It was showdown time in the Erie County League. Iroquois and General McLean met on the Braves' home diamond. Both teams sporting 10-1 league records going into this one. And it was the Iroquois Braves who jumped on top early. The base hit to left eludes the General McLean left fielder. And you see the third base coach giving the go-ahead sign. The run scores on the play. Iroquois leads 1-0, and the batter pulls up into second base. A key play, because the next batter later, he brings him home. A base hit again to left. Here comes another run to score. Iroquois jumps on top 2-0. They went on and beat General McLean this afternoon by a 6-1 score. So it's Iroquois on top of the Erie County League all alone. Let's go.
It's tied for the County League going into today's matchup at Lawrence Park between the Braves and the Lancers. We have some highlights from the ball game. Iroquois wins it 6-1 after Iroquois took a 2-0 lead. McLean pitcher Mark Brazil cut the lead in half when he ripped a solo home run over the 325 sign in left center field. That made it 2-1 Iroquois. Then in the fifth inning with 2 on and 2 out, Iroquois senior Dan Olson sent this pitch over the fence in left field as the Braves took a 5-1 advantage. That shot was followed by a Greg Parker home run as Iroquois all alone in first place in the ECL. Their record is 11-1. McLean's now 10-2. That's 6-1, the final score in that ball game. In the major leagues today,
hosted General McLean. The Braves and the Lancers are tied for the top spot with 10-1 records. Now, with GM leading 1-0, Iroquois struck for 2 runs. Greg Parker got the big blow with a single driving in 2. That gave the Braves a 2-1 lead. Chris Yopes picked up the win pitching for Iroquois, and the Braves went on to beat the Lancers 6-1. The Prep Ramblers took
Iroquois Braves sit on top of the Erie County League after their showdown with General McLean this afternoon. Both teams went into the contest with identical records, but it was the Braves who kind of jumped on top, did it early, made it count, held on and won it. Danny Olson with the base hit to left. That ball gets by the General McLean left fielder. Here comes Pat Wegley in to score for Iroquois, and they take the early lead as Olson ends up at second base on the play. He will then come home as Greg Parker rips one to left center field. Here comes Olson around third on his way to score. Iroquois won it 6-1. They're in first place in the Erie County League. Now to baseball.
That made it 2-1 Iroquois. Then in the fifth inning, with 2 on and 2 out, Iroquois senior Dan Olson sent this pitch over the left field fence. A 3-run homer for Olson. It was 5-1 Braves. That shot was followed by a Greg Parker homer. As the Braves trim the Lancers for the second time this season, the final score was 6-1.
Pirates series, Chuck Tanner has to be feeling pretty good about
to advance. All right, they try to hold on to a 1-0 lead with some good defense. Watch Chris Yopes, the second baseman, charge the play, come up throwing in time to get the runner at first base. That was supported by Steve Hall's pitching. He threw a one-hitter as the Braves won it 1-0. So here's the scoreboard now.
Districts got knocked off by Titusville. And Steve Hall was the difference for the Braves. He pitched 6 innings of no-hit ball. Hall ended Lakeview's only threat in the 7th when he got the final batter to bounce out as Iroquois defeats Lakeview 1-0. Iroquois will now face Girard tomorrow afternoon.
Girard kids have always hit the ball well, and that concerns me. But on the other hand, I think our kids are up for the task tomorrow.
Another count.
Baseball activity at Ainsworth Field, where it was a close one between Iroquois and Lakeview, but the Braves got what they needed to beat the Sailors 1-0. Iroquois pitcher Steve Hall went the distance. He fired a one-hitter past the French Creek team. The Braves needed just 1 run for the win. It came on this play after Jack Mosier doubled and moved to third. Mark Van Horn's fly ball to center field was dropped. Mosier scored. The Braves won it 1-0. Now tomorrow, Iroquois will meet the Girard Yellow Jackets. Moving to AAA girls.
Semifinal stage today, and we start off with a rematch of Erie County teams. Iroquois against Girard in the AA bracket. Steve Hall will single here for the Braves. Chris Yopes, who was on the hill, scores. 1-1 Braves in the second. But Girard stated it early. Doug Loger singling over short. Brother Dan Loger scores, tied it at 1. But Iroquois blew it open in the final innings. Watch Greg Parker double off the wall in deep right center field. In fact, Iroquois scored 10 runs in the last 3 innings to win this one by a score of 11-1. Earlier today,
softball finals are just about set now. This comes after today's semifinal action in both the AA and AAA divisions. Jet TV's Mike Gallagher has this report on today's matchups in the semifinals.
Chris Yoke tossed a 6-hitter this afternoon as the Braves of Iroquois advanced to the Class AA final with an 11-1 victory over Girard in 5 innings. Iroquois scored 9 runs in the 5th inning as Steve Hall had a solo homer. Greg Parker hit a 3-run homer, and Mark Van Horn connected for a grand slam. And the other AA semifinal this afternoon at Ainsworth, the Sagertown Panthers beat Hickory 11-6. The nice running catch by right fielder David Hassenhoff. For the final out of the ballgame, Sagertown will meet Iroquois at Ainsworth Field tomorrow at 4 o'clock. In girls softball action, the girls AAA final will be a rematch that pits Harbor Creek against
both girls and boys, and we'll talk about both of those. Heil. The Iroquois Braves baseball team will have a chance to win another District 10 baseball title tomorrow afternoon. The Braves advanced to the finals by beating Girard today. It was close in the 5th, but Iroquois exploded. They had the bases loaded, and with one swing from Mark Van Horn, the issue was decided. Van Horn's grand slam put the Braves on top 9-1. They went on to beat Girard by the final of 11-1. In the other AA game, Sagertown's Charlie Schaefer drove one here to center that fell in against Hickory. Bill Novak scored, and Sagertown was coasting. They knocked off Hickory 11-6 to move on to the finals. In the AAA semifinals, General McLean had a 1-0 lead on McDowell, but when the Trojans got this base hit through the right side of the infield, the tying run scored. The Trojans went on to beat the Lancers 2-1 in a game that just ended. So the AA finals will pitch Sagertown, an 11-6 winner over Hickory, and Iroquois, who beat Girard 11-1. AAA playoffs, McDowell over General McLean 2-1. Sharon and Titusville, the other matchup in AAA. That game will get started in a few minutes. In girls softball action, Harbor Creek took on Meadville, and the Huskies were holding a 1-0 lead. The slam homer in the 5th capped a 7-run inning for the Braves. They went on to beat Girard 11-1. the Braves will meet Sagertown, who had a big first inning to put Hickory away. Sagertown's Charlie Schaefer drove one to center that fell in. Bill
Garden, as the Celtics are hosting the Houston Rockets. Those are now over, and 8 teams have advanced to the finals tomorrow. With a report on today's AA and AAA contests, here's Jet TV's Mike Gallagher.
The McDowell Trojans advanced to the finals of the District 10 AAA division with a narrow 2-1 victory over the General McLean Lancers. The game was tied going into the 6th inning when Jeff Morrow reached first with a walk. Then a throw into center field allowed Morrow to turn on the speed as he reached home to score the winning run. In tomorrow's championship game, McDowell will face the Sharon Tigers, who made it to the championship game by defeating Titusville tonight at Ainsworth Field. The Tigers scored first and eventually went on to win by the score of 10-2. Chris Yelps tossed a 6-hitter this afternoon as the Braves of Iroquois advanced to the Class AA Finals with an 11-1 victory over Girard. Iroquois scored 9 runs in the 5th inning as Steve Hall had a solo homer, Greg Parker hit a 3-run shot, and Mark Van Horn connected for a grand slam. In the other AA semifinal this afternoon, the Sagertown Panthers beat Hickory 11-6. The nice running catch by right fielder David Hassenhoff ended the game as Sagertown will now meet Iroquois for the final tomorrow afternoon.
Score. Meanwhile, AA action this afternoon. Iroquois against Girard. Steve Hall singles and Chris Yope scored. Iroquois leads 1-0. But then they are up for 10 runs in the last 3 innings as Greg Parker drives one off the wall in deep right center. Iroquois was a winner in AA action this afternoon by an 11-1 score. Sagertown met Hickory also at Ainsworth Field today. This is Chuck Schaefer at the dish for Sagertown. Watch him level the pitch and rip it into right center field. Billy Novak scores, and Sagertown was a winner. So here's the scoreboard now. First of all, AAA, McDowell will play Sharon. Sharon was a winner against Titusville. Tournament continued tonight, and as most expected, it was Metro League champion McDowell facing Sharon in the AAA finals. All right, let's get to Ainsworth Field tonight. Drive by Sharon, deep to right off Matt Miklas, but it is caught at the wall. This one a pitcher's duel. McDowell tries to threaten early in the baseball game. This double laced into the corner down in left field, and the runner will pull up into second base with the stand-up 2-bagger. But Sharon's Pat Carrihan gets them out to keep the game scoreless, and then in the bottom of the 7th inning, it is McDowell's Glenn Rogers who gets the base hit. This isn't the base hit, but Rogers got the base hit that won it, and McDowell won it by a 1-0 score. Also dramatics against Sagertown and Iroquois. Bottom of the 12th inning, Sagertown at the plate, game tied 4-4. Ball thrown away at first base. The runner at second tries to go to third. Now watch the third base coach as the ball will get by the third baseman. The coach kind of wants him to go, doesn't he? He tries to push him down the line. Now, of course, that was a little bit illegal according to the Iroquois players. They tried to argue that, but the runner had no trouble getting. His name is Tom Bossard, and it was Tom Seda who got the winning hit. Sagertown, the district champions, with a 12-inning win. Let's go to the scoreboard. The final was 6-5 there in 12 innings. Congratulations to Sagertown. And in the AAA
final against Iroquois, with the score tied in the 7th, they went to work again. They came up with 2 runs, and then we move on to the 12th. The Panthers had 2 on, and Tom Sato drilled one to a base hit to left. Tom Bossard came away, and he scored the winning run as Sagertown defeats Iroquois 6-5 in 12. It was time for the ribbons and the trophy.
Baseball championship was decided this evening at Ainsworth Field in Erie as the McDowell Trojans, the champions of the Metro League, met the Sharon Tigers in what really turned out to be a pitcher's duel most of the night. The only run came in the bottom of the 7th inning as Glenn Rogers got the game-winning RBI as McDowell won the ball game by a final score of 1-0. Mike Miklas was the winning pitcher. Pat Kierlin took the loss, a tough one for the Sharon Tigers as they finished the season. Again, that final score, McDowell 1 and Sharon 0. The Trojans now advance to interdistrict play next Tuesday against Hopewell. That game most likely will be played at Ainsworth Field. The AA game was an extra inning affair that matched defending champion Iroquois and French Creek Valley opponent Sagertown. It took about 4 hours to decide this one as it went into extra innings. The AA baseball tilt went into extra innings between Iroquois and Sagertown. The game was tied at 5 apiece in the bottom of the 12th when Tom Seda of Sagertown connected on this RBI single that scored Tom Bossard with the winning run for the Panthers as Sagertown defeats the defending District 10 champions from Iroquois 6-5.
We've had a lot of winners in our league, but this is the first time we've ever captured a District 10 in baseball.
Where do you go from here, Coach?
I was just informed we play Ford City from District 7, and they're trying to arrange it at this site.